viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. It's time to talk Aqua and Orange. Miami Dolphins fans. Here's a man with incredibly high standards. In fact, he isn't impressed with Tyreek Hill's dominance, Jalen Waddle's speed, or even Teron Armstead's swag. It's the Essential Moving Experts Miami Dolphins Exchange with Joe Schad. When you're looking to move your home or business anywhere in the U.S. from coast to coast, call Essential Moving Experts at 305-602-8369. Flat rates and no surprise charges. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Call 305-602-8369. Let's talk football. Here's Joe Schad.
There he is, locked and loaded. Appreciate all of you. Don't forget to call our guy Sean Williams if you're moving anywhere. Like our guy Marcel Louis Jacques. He moved from Dade County to Broward County, and he called Essential Moving Experts. You can do the same, California to Georgia, wherever you're going, dude. Call him. How you feeling, Joe? How you feeling? You feeling good?
I am good. I'm hoping that the hurricane doesn't affect this weekend's game. Most folks think right now it will not.
Yeah, I don't think so because it's going more for Nova Scotia. So, you know, you'll get some stuff, maybe, you know. So maybe you'll get some wind, some rain or something, but I don't think it'll be enough to stop it. Not for football. I don't think so. So I think you're going to be a full go. Maybe a delay. Maybe a little lightning delay or something, but no, I doubt it. I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be good in the press room. By the way, and the best spread, right? Is it still the best spread?
I'm not a big clam chowder guy personally, so.
But isn't it like all the food that they have? Because I remember when I went to the old Foxborough a couple times. I haven't even been to the new one, but if I remember correctly, dude. Everything was great. Breakfast in between the game at halftime.
Yeah, they give you breakfast.
I think they were pretty good. If I remember the spread in New
SoFi
England.
was good.
What was that?
SoFi might be the best.
See, that's why I'm saying I don't know what it's like now compared to back in the day. I remember it was New England was actually the best one on the trip. All right, so that was a hell of a performance, dude. I mean, I know the run defense, whatever, I get it. It was ugly, all that kind of stuff. Before I get into that, I have a theory. My theory is that these two coaches came in with these intentions, okay? One was we talk shit like crazy of Brandon Staley taking away the middle of the field and all that kind of stuff. And Mike McDaniel wanted to send a message that you're not going to take any part of the field away from me. So he went and attacked the middle of the field on purpose because if he would have attacked the sides and run the ball, you would have countered with what? Hey, very smart. They took away the middle. They adjusted. Great job. He didn't want that. He wanted to make sure he proved the point. And then the other guy, which was Fangio, they were dead set. 2 deep safeties. Go ahead, bro. We're going to take our guys. We got to do the best against the run. And obviously, they don't know everything yet. They didn't do well, but they lived with it all the way, dude. And at the end, they saved themselves to have the blitz because they didn't do it throughout the game. They stayed with their plan all the way. Like Tyreek Hill, running inside, boom, outside, touchdown. It was almost like there was a deliberate plan to what they were going to do, and they stayed with it until Rocky had to go to Southpaw.
Yeah, Brandon Staley basically admitted after the game that he and his staff were out-coached by Mike McDaniel, and McDaniel had a brilliant game. Went for it on 4th and 7. That was the correct call. They converted to Durham Smythe. Call timeout just before halftime when almost no coach that I know of would call timeout in that spot. Almost everyone else sits on the ball and just lives to play another day. Just a brilliant game plan, scheming ways to get Tyreek Hill open by putting him in different positions on the field. He lined up at running back. He lined up at tight end. He lined up at fullback. He did motions that were different than the types of motions that he did last season. He utilized everyone from River Craycraft to Eric Izakama to Alec Ingold. It was really just a splendid coaching performance by Mike McDaniel and the staff. They did, in fact, provide a schematic advantage for Miami. And that's something I'll write about later today in a column for the Palm Beach Post. You can also check out The Tape Don't Lie, which I spent probably 8 or 9 hours last night just watching the film over and over again because it was a joy to watch. It was not so much on the run defense, but other than that, it was a joy to watch.
Yeah, and on the flip side, Fangio, the way he stayed kind of the same D pretty much, and then unleashed the Kraken at the end.
Yeah, the Dolphins blitzed only 7 times, which was near the bottom of the league for total number of blitzes. And yet they were in the middle of the pack in terms of hurries and pressures. That's a reversal from last year where they were among the league leaders in blitzes and yet struggled to create pressures, hurries, and sacks. So I think the unexpected blitz from Justin Bethel at the end of the game, when you haven't blitzed all day, that's a little bit more of a surprise. Even though it was fun to see how much Josh Boyer blitzed, it did make you very vulnerable. And also it put the opponent in formations in which they were expecting the blitz. So they were set up to protect against it.
Yeah. I just thought it was magnificently coached, overall. I get it. It sucked. Fangio's defense against the run sucked, but eventually it's going to get way better as time goes on. These guys will figure all that stuff out. You
don't have an Landon Roberts, and I wasn't the hugest Landon Roberts guy because he couldn't run and cover, but he was a thumper. Who's the thumper in this group? David Long and Jerome Baker had a hard time getting off the blocks, and what I saw the Chargers do was they double teamed Christian Wilkins and/or Raekwon Davis and/or Zach Sealer, and when that happens, you need Baker and Long, who are thin guys.
Yeah,
and Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel was out there more than Long. Van Ginkel's an edge rusher. He's not a middle linebacker. I know he's playing middle linebacker, but this makes you very vulnerable to the run.
Yeah. They don't have a thumper in there, man. They don't have a special linebacker. They've got to find that. But again, this is, when you switch defenses or switch offenses or switch head coaches, there now becomes a transition period. And this year, it's not on offense anymore. As you see, the tape don't lie. Everybody knows what to do. He admitted last year that he didn't know the whole playbook, just like Tua, because you really don't learn the playbook in the first year, especially one that complicated. You watched it. I watched yesterday the whole line, the offensive line. I watched it a couple times over, and it was a joy to watch the way they designed that offense, the way Lamb and Jackson actually blocked well at times where they double team. Hell, there was a couple plays that were designed where they just allowed Bosa to rush. And for Tua to know that that's coming and to throw in the face of Bosa and complete, that was ass too. You know what I mean? So everything, the way they designed everything, it was so, just at another level. But he can do things with the offense that Fangio can't do yet because Fangio doesn't have all his players, because that's the other thing. He inherited an Ogba. Let's be honest. Does Ogba really fit this defense? No, not at all. So, but he has to have him here because of the salary. So there's going to be players this year that, unfortunately, Vic Fangio has to coach through them and get the best of them. But next offseason, some of these guys aren't going to be here because they don't fit what he does. And so now you're going to have to deal with the growing pains for this season on defense. I'm sure it'll get better, but it won't be perfect because you just mentioned it. Elements that are missing, and a thumper is one of them that you're going to need in this defense, and they don't have it right now. So this is going to be a transition year for Fangio, whereas McDaniel pretty much has all his toys, and he can play with them the way he wants to play with them.
Jalen Phillips had 7 pressures, according to Pro Football Focus. He had a key pressure on 3rd down that forced a field goal at the end of the game that kept the Dolphins alive, because if he doesn't make that pressure and forcing Herbert to throw it away, the Dolphins might not even have a chance to win the ball game. And of course, he ends the game with the sack. Bradley Chubb had 0 pressures, according to Pro Football Focus. Bradley has stated that he wants to be more impactful than he was last year after coming to the Dolphins. And I'm sure that if I go talk to him today, he'll tell me that he wants to be more impactful than he was on Sunday.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. What'd you think overall of the offensive line play?
Well, it's not. It is what it is because they're paying Bradley Chubb a lot of money.
I know that,
Yeah.
but I need to see like a month straight. I can't overreact because he might.
Yeah, it's one game.
He might have been playing the tougher side of that line, and so I want to see it over a month to see if you are struggling on a consistent basis, or sometimes you're going to have more of a favorable matchup or some along those lines. And so that's the only thing that I can't really determine that because I don't know.
I did see some research that since his arrival, he's among the lowest in pressure percentage among edge rushers in the whole league. So
was he on the
much is expected? Much is expected of Chubb.
Was he on the Rashawn Slater side?
He rushed against the Chargers left tackle.
Yeah.
So,
who's
the Patriots left tackle? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked it up yet. We got to see the Patriots left tackle.
It tells me that the Patriots left tackle is not nearly as good as Rashawn Slater. So let me see how he does over the next month. And then, because sometimes some tackles, you're just not going to have a lot of success against them. You know what I'm saying? It's just, one of the, hey, how do you think they feel right now with Bosa and Mack? Like their fan base must be going, who's Jackson and Lamb?
Austin Jackson put Joey Bosa on his butt.
I know.
Multiple occasions. And Robert Hunt played angry. It was great. This the new coach, the new O-line coach, Butch Barry, this guy, he's in their heads, man, in a good way.
Yeah. So let me ask you, revisit the 2020 draft now. So you find your quarterback, you find if he does turn the corner, your starting right tackle, your starting right guard. For a bonus, Raekwon and Brandon Jones are just bonus pieces.
Benogany was in there, right?
No, but that's the miss. Forget the miss. I'm just talking about hits.
No, 2 out of 3 is good. You'll take that.
No, that's 5. They hit 5 because Raekwon and Brandon Jones are in that draft.
Yeah, Brandon Jones is a solid player. He's a 3rd rounder, right?
Yeah. But he was fine until he was actually playing well until the injury. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens to him. But I love Brandon Jones.
Raekwon wasn't great. Raekwon lost all this weight, and he wasn't great.
Yeah,
he wasn't.
He hasn't been great. He's never been great. He's never.
Yeah,
been
but I'm
great.
saying on Sunday, I expected to see him better, and it wasn't there. Yeah,
contract year. It's up to him. Oh, Corey Lindsey again. You picked on the 2 best.
Yeah, they had a good line. Yeah, they have a good line.
No. You picked on the 2 best linemen. You picked on the guy that was facing Corey Lindsey, and you picked on the guy that was facing Rashawn Slater. Mm-hmm. So, I gotta, sometimes those guys are also special. So, when you go up against a special guy, okay, let me see what you do in the next week and the week after that, and then we'll measure Chubb. But going back to the O-line, okay, is this like the best O-line play you've ever covered with the Miami Dolphins? Like in one game? I'm interested in that because you do a lot of the tape.
The Omar Kelly unicorn days with Jawan James and Laramie Tunsil. There were some really good games in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Like this?
Well, the problem is they weren't very effective in the running game. There were only a couple of good runs. So it wasn't like they were mauling people in the run game. To have a complete game, you need to maul people in the run game.
The coach wasn't trying to run.
Yeah. I was wrong. I thought the Dolphins were going to try to run and the Chargers were going to try to pass, and I had it backwards. Yeah.
I'm with you. I was wrong there, too. I thought you kept the extra back. You're going to have 5 back. Okay, so you're thinking of running and all that. By the way, Austin Jackson even going to the second level to pick up blocks. That was pretty good too. You saw that in the tape.
He looks like a different player. He has better technique, better footwork, better hand punch. And he's playing more aggressively. I love it. This is the player the Dolphins thought they drafted. Now, it's one game.
Of course.
But that's the player the Dolphins thought they drafted. By the way, Toronto Armstead back at practice today. He was moving around quite well with the red jersey. So it's going to be very interesting. I know. We say that, but
Buffalo on my birthday.
If he's out there practicing on a Monday, he's testing it.
Nah. Send him to Acapulco to hang out.
Yeah. Let's not get carried away, though. Kendall Lamb had a very good game, but he's not Teron Armstead.
He handled Mac this week, and Boza, by the way.
Mac's not the same player, by the way. Yeah.
He handled Boza too. Okay, because I saw it. I watched.
It was a lot of double teams. Yeah, there were a lot of Bosa help. It was a lot of Bosa help. Jackson and Hunt.
But there was a Lamb Boza solo, and I saw him handle him.
Lamb was shadowing. He was shadowing him really well. That Kendall Lamb did great. He's as good a number 3 tackle as the Dolphins have had.
Joe, but this is what I want them to do. Bro, there's no hurry. He's playing well. Give Teron the chance to get as close as possible to 100 so the man
But he's got 3 injuries. The guy's never going to be fully healthy. He's always going to be playing hurt. Never. He's never going to be fully healthy.
But you think about what's coming in the next 2 games. Kendall can handle it for Buffalo in game 4. That's when you whip out the Kraken and you take, and then you know, isn't it?
But I'm telling you, he's out there practicing today.
Yeah.
There's no way he's sitting out the next 2 games. There's no way. So your preference, I don't see happening.
Yeah. No. Did he see what Kendall did? By the way, they went
last time an intern came out and wrote a good story. I was back at work the next day.
Yeah. Right. So Tua's play. Talk to me about Tua's play, bro. The accuracy was just absolutely sick.
He's got a little more whip on his passes. He obviously threw an amazing pass with the game on the line where he was moving towards the line of scrimmage and threw it right and dropped it right in the bucket for Tyreek Hill. But there were some other throws that were a little under the radar that were even more impressive, particularly the throws to Braxton Berrios, where he's a little off platform, pressure coming, and he kind of throws it, and you're like, wow, got there fast. So it doesn't always have to be the 40, 50-yard pass. Sometimes you're required to have a little more zip on those outs that are 8 to 15 yards. And Tua got it done, man. He was outstanding. He was excellent.
You know, I'm trying to look at it now. Somebody posted a video. Here it is. I found it. And okay, good. So it shows Tua practicing, right? Let me pull it up for you here.
Yeah, Nick Hicks posted it.
Yeah, you saw that? So people can check it out, which is pretty cool. It's a really cool video. It's Tua practicing and doing the same thing he did in that game against the Chargers. And look, there's a practice. Boom, he's running forward and he throws the ball, and it's the same exact play where he breaks forward and throws the ball out to Tyreek in stride. And that, so I thought that was a pretty cool thing to see the practice come to reality. And again, in the thing that's been on display, Joe, is not only did he bulk up, and I'm sure it's helping him have more strength. Plus, this is year 2 away from the hip injury that I think people don't talk enough about. He's been able to work on his core. That's where everything comes from. And there's no way that his core was at 100% 8 months, 10 months, a year removed from the surgery. So now in year 2, where you're able to really strengthen that core, that's where that torque is going to also come from. But building the shoulders and the thing on the bad snaps, when you've had people throw themselves on him, the old Tua might have gotten injured. 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago in that preseason game in the bad snap that the linebacker landed on his back, neck, head, the old Tua that wasn't bulked up may have gotten injured in any of those situations of contact. So not only has it helped him maybe for the arm a little bit, but there's no doubt that even contact's kind of been proven that that's helped him out. Had to have helped him out a little bit.
I mean, it's one game, so we don't want to overreact. Obviously, it's a very long season. So we hope that Tua can stay healthy. We know that Tua doesn't have Justin Herbert and Josh Allen's arm strength, but he is managing the game, making all the required throws, and emerging victorious. So really, you don't need anything more than what he's doing.
Well, actually, let's be honest. Tua is looking like a better quarterback than Josh Allen.
He's played better than him over the last, whatever it is, 10, 12 games, no doubt.
He's a better quarterback. I don't give a shit about the – see, that's my problem with general media. Like sometimes you guys fall in love with the run and the size and the arm. And you know, that's where I don't fall for that bullshit. I fall for the guy that's accurate, the guy that is winner, the guy that has anticipatory skills, all that kind of stuff. The stuff that I never saw from Ryan Tannehill. He could run and throw and all that kind of stuff, but didn't have the accuracy. He wasn't going to ever see that, you know. And to me, that's my problem. Look, Josh Allen to me is not even close to the passer Tua is, not even close. And I think that's being now finally displayed in the last year that he's played in a real system. The accuracy and the ball placement, you cannot compare Tua to Josh Allen. It's not even in the same. Now, Herbert has accuracy, okay? Cojones, I'm not sure about that. Not sure about that, you know. I'm not sure about that. You know, kind of weird, right? The irony. A giant quarterback thrown to a giraffe named Parham, and two twin towers in Williams and in Allen, and the Oompa Loompa for Miami throwing to the Oompa Loompa receivers, and the Oompa Loompa coach unleashes the Kraken, and the Kraken's this size, not that size. Interesting.
Sorry, what is there a question?
I don't know. What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah,
I think
play a more powerful game. The smaller people play the explosive game. It's kind of strange because
the amount of explosive plays are extremely impressive. There was a time where Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert were way ahead of Tua in like completions of 30 yards or more, completions of 40 yards or more. I should actually do a research project on that because obviously the Dolphins had, I think it was 17 plays of 15 yards or more, which hadn't been done in 12 years.
Brian Flores will kill anybody's career. I mean,
listen, I'm no Flores fan, but let's keep in mind that it wasn't just that Flores wasn't a huge fan of Tua. He also believed that the way you won the game was with defense and a conservative offensive plan. So it wasn't just Tua, it was also a philosophy. It was a philosophy. That's different than McDaniel, who was aggressive and bold.
Right. And right. So let me ask you something. If it's the final drive, okay, or let's say the final quarter, let me just put the fourth quarter. And at that moment, I switch out and I put Tua in the Chargers. Do the Chargers win at home?
I don't know. I mean, we've seen Herbert outplay Tua. I mean, listen, they're both good quarterbacks. The AFC has so many good quarterbacks. And you can see how the Jets season turns on a dime. All of a sudden, they're thinking their season's over due to a quarterback injury.
Yeah, that was a flawed. The Jets are dumb, bro. Let's get a 40-year-old quarterback and build the worst offensive line in front of him. That one I knew was never going to work. That was just crazy stuff right there. What do you like this week? You like them in New England?
Yeah, I picked the Dolphins to win by 3 last week. They should have won by 3. They won by 2, and Yeah, I'll pick the Dolphins to cover the spread this week, whatever it is. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I think they're much better than New England. I think they're the clear favorite in the AFC East at this point.
Is the leash shorter for Jason Sanders? Because he did great with the field goals, although they were kind of close too. But dude, you can't miss that extra. You can't put the entire game on the line.
He doesn't miss extra points though. That was a fluke. He
I
won't miss
know.
another one the rest of the year. He won't. It happens. The extra point's not like it used to be. The kickoff is so boring. 14 kickoffs, 14 out of bounds. It's so boring. The NFL needs to change that. What a waste of time. Why are you giving me 14 kickoffs, no returns? They need to go to the XFL model where the teams are closer to each other. Yeah.
They're just trying to avoid the contact, the collisions, the concussions that come from that whole thing. But you're right. The XFL kind of figured out a more fair way where the collisions aren't from two guys coming at each other, 40 miles.
It's more like a running play. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a train wreck. Yeah. What do you got going on in the Palm Beach Post? So folks can check that out and tell them about the Tape Don't Lie because, new people come in and out, Joe, and they don't know about the work you put into the Tape Don't Lie.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably 2,000 words about the game. Someone's going to count it because I don't know if that's somewhere around 2,000 words that I wrote after reviewing the film. And I'm always interested to see things that I learn and pick up on that I didn't watching the game live. And so check it out. The Tape Don't Lie. It's been the most successful thing I've done in my return to covering the Dolphins with this my 8th year. So it's the one thing that's always very widely read. But if you haven't checked it out, check it out.
Give them a tease, Joe. Give them something you learned that's there so they kind of can see. Give them a tease.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about run defense, for example. I talked about how Raekwon, Baker, and Long really need to be better against the run in terms of run fits and shedding blocks. There you go.
Okay, there you go. I don't think that's ever going to happen for Baker, unfortunately. It's
Yeah,
not. Follow him on Twitter at Schad Joe and catch his work at the Palm Beach Post. Better yet, subscribe like I do. That way,
$1 for 6 months.
Yeah, you can get Hal's work. They do really good stuff, man, there, okay? Tom D'Angelo's a good dude, does excellent work. Good people over there at the Palm Beach Post. Joe, as always, thank you, my brother. We shall catch up next week, my friend, after the New England game.
Take care.
You've been listening to the Essential Moving Experts Miami Dolphins Exchange with Joe Schad. When you're looking for local, home, long moving services or office relocation, call Essential Moving Experts at 305-602-8369. Flat rates and no surprise charges. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Call 305-602-8369. Miami Dolphins fans, follow Big O Radio Show on all platforms to keep up with your favorite NFL team.